So, does everybody have a favorite cocktail? Is that like a thing? I feel like I might need to figure out my favorite cocktail because every time I talk to somebody about it, they definitely have their go-to, drink when they're out or they're, socializing or whatever. And I don't have like a fancy I like this. And I should probably have that, right? I don't know. Why am I talking about booze again? Oh, yeah, because we're making a cocktail inspired soap today. And before I get into what that is, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. Hey there, Sudsers. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us for another round of 365 Days of Soap. Now, today on the agenda, we have the Bee's Knees soap. Now, this is another ombre, gradient ombre pour, and it is super beautiful. I love the way this turns out every single time. It always goes really well. It smells delightful. It is lavender, lemon, and it's made with honey. And you also have the cool, we put lavender buds on top. You want to watch it, right? So we're gonna go watch it. Okay, so today we have the Bee's Knees. Now, this is another ombre pour and another way to sort of do an ombre pour. And this is for the same wholesale account that does the orange mimosa. This is her second in her spring line. And this one is actually made with honey. Now, you can incorporate honey into your soap batter in a couple ways. You can put it once you've reached trace, which is, about here, or you can just dump it directly into your oils like I do, which is what I did with this guy. So we've got honey in the pot before you put the lye water in, and we are mixing this up right now so it will get ready to, it's saponified and ready to be turned into, soap at this point. I'm sorry, emulsified. And yeah, so my angles are just bad. I'm never gonna get this right. Anyway, so with the ombre soap that I showed you a few days ago, the mimosa soap, I sort of switched the game plan in the middle of the soap just for funsies to see what would happen if I stopped going darker with the color sort of mid pour and started again with the lighter and gave it sort of 2 layers of ombre. And that was fun. I liked that a lot. It was really cool. But I'm going to show you this time what happens when you just do, a real, just straight ombre pour. It's more of a gradient pour, I suppose, than an ombre because it's a very slight color difference until you get, from the bottom of the bar to the top. Now everything is mixed in and ready to pour for the first round. And yeah, we're gonna do that thing now. So for the pour of this, it's basically the same as the orange mimosa. We are going to put the mold on an angle and pour in layers of color, and with each pass we're going to darken it up a little bit at a time. Now this particular bar is meant to be fashioned after the Bee's Knees, lovely alcoholic beverage that has like lavender and honey in it. It's very delightful, and I think there's some lemon going on with it as well. So it's a gradient yellow bar, and then we actually top it off with lavender buds, and it's very lovely. It's very, very beautiful. So yeah, it is scented with lavender and lemon, and it has the honey additive in it as well, so it has a little bit of sweetness to it as well. I put a little bit of vanilla, not a lot, so it won't discolor. Now, this particular oil blend for this soap, it is for a wholesale account that does not do palm. So this oil blend is coconut oil, argan oil, olive oil, and castor oil. And it's about a 60-40 split actually from liquid oils to solid. So we're going to get a decent bubble out of the coconut, but we really are going for a creamier type lather with this anyway. So it's, you know, awesome with that particular oil blend. It's going to work out really well. Now you see how the color in there is just darkening up very, very slightly. That's awesome. That's totally what we're wanting to go for here, because again, we're looking for more of a gradient than like a really strict sort of, you know, layered ombre. And this accomplishes that, and it accomplishes that beautifully. And the, you know, big bonus is you only have to use one color, right? So you're just using the one. You're not trying to find a dark yellow and a light yellow, or maybe, you know, lighten the yellow up with some white. And no, you don't have to do any of that. And it's a one pot soap in essence when you do it this way, which I super love. Like, you know, my soaps, my meals, I like them to be one pot because, you know, less dishes to clean up afterwards. Now we will continue doing this and layering the soap into the mold until there's no more room on that wall. And once that is the case, we will put the soap flat on its bottom and pour the remainder of the soap batter on the top. And that is the final bit of the soap batter that has not been, you know, colored or scented or anything in there, so that I need to put in the rest of the lavender and the lemon, as well as the kaolin clay. And this particular batch of kaolin clay, I did mix this with, I dispersed it in water. And there are pluses and minuses to doing extra water in your batch. It does keep it fluid longer, but it also can take it too long to cure, essentially. Not, you know, too long, but it could take longer to cure, rather. Yeah, words, they're fun. And also, the water content has a lot to do with glycerin rivers. So if you notice any sort of glycerin rivers forming in your soap and that's not what you're wanting, you might want to look at your water content and see if you need to change that up a little bit. Now this is getting, you know, the beautiful, you know, lemon color now. It's very pretty. And it's not going to get too much darker than this at this point. I think we'll get, I don't know, maybe 2 shades lighter or darker before it's fully saturated, and it won't go, you know, any darker than, you know, yellow is yellow. Now with this batter itself, it's staying really beautifully fluid throughout. This is just a really delightful pour, and there are a number of reasons why it's staying fluid. Number one, and probably the most important, is the oils, right? So with a 60-40 split there, more liquid than hard, you are going to have a batch that, you know, sort of traces slower, which is good. And also I'm soaping pretty low with this, and I can because there's no palm in it, so I don't need a, you know, high heat to actually melt all the stearic acid in the palm. And that also contributes to, you know, the batter staying fluid longer, which is awesome. And obviously the extra water that goes in with the kaolin clay for this one, it's gonna stay fluid longer. And there are trade-offs to that though. I'm going to find that I have a softer bar tomorrow when I go to cut than you would have if you know, didn't have that extra water in there, or if you had used more solid oils, or, you know, whatever. But for me, it doesn't matter. All of my soaps cure up for, you know, 4 weeks before I sell them anyway. So how long it takes to get to that point, it's kind of irrelevant to me. It really, that doesn't matter. And for the ease of pouring this, I'm okay. I'm okay with the extra water. I'm okay with, you know, the softer oils to keep this pour going really, really nicely, because you do need to keep your batter nice and fluid for something like this, so you get the really gradual effect with the gradients and not, you know, really strong, you know, obvious delineations of color. Now we're gonna just, you know, scallop the top because you can. It's thick enough at this point that I can do the thing. And then, yeah, putting the lavender buds on the top just to give it the whole lavender reference for, you know, the mixed beverage. And yeah, that's kind of it. This guy's gonna go into the oven and it's going to be C-popped. We're gonna make sure it goes through gel so the yellow will stand out from the cream of the rest of the soap, and it will be ready to cut and check out tomorrow. Okay, you ready to cut into this and see if we successfully accomplished an ombre or if I, destroyed everything? Oh, why is it not in focus? Can you go, show me the, go, yeah, there you go. Yep. Ah, look at that. So beautiful. It's lovely. It's such a bright, beautiful bar. It just makes me happy looking at it. And yeah, I actually try to do the sort of rounding of the edges and whatnot at this stage, which is one of the reasons I cut, the day after I pour, because it's still soft enough to sort of just mold the edges and fix the imperfections now, and then you don't have to, bevel them or plane them or whatever later, which is a win for me because beveling soaps and it's not a lot of fun. But this is fun. This is such a beautiful bar. I really love, the bright white going on in the lower right hand corner and then going up to the full, yellow on the upper left. It's just gorgeous. And the smell is amazing. Lavender and lemon mixed together is great, and it does have, a little bit of sweetness because of a bit of vanilla I put in. And it's such a beautiful, fun bar, and actually perfect for this particular wholesale client who really does focus on, the natural and the whatever in life. And so she's definitely not going to want to get anything too ostentatious, too bright, and too crazy. And so for her line, this is perfect. And yeah, that's the bar. That's day 29. It's the bee's knees, and yeah, she's a babe. Look at her. So this particular bar is a second of a Drop in the Ocean's spring line. She has the orange mimosa as well as the bee's knees. It's one of her favorite cocktails ever, and so we definitely had to, put it into soap form. And I've never tried the bee's knees, the cocktail, but if it's anything like this bar, I'm interested because it's so bright and tangy with the lemon, and then you have the sort of botanical going with the lavender, and then the nice sweetness with the honey. And the lather on this one is absolutely incredible because we incorporated honey into it, and sugar's definitely up lather. But yeah, it's an absolute gorgeous bar all around, and if you are interested in purchasing it, I will leave dropintheoceanshop.com's information down below. And if you're interested in following me on social media, you can find me, Handle Soap and Clay, at Twitter and Instagram, and I don't even use soap, at Facebook. And thank you so much for hanging out for another day of 365 days of soap. Don't forget, we're in the middle of a contest, and we are giving away a big box of soapy love as soon as we hit 500 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you have subscribed, thank you. And tell your friends, and that would be awesome. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.